Hello, welcome back. Right, so we're going to finish off where we was yesterday. We've done this lay. We made our connection to the Zohar. Do you know what I mean? So the Zohar, but obviously we missed. Well, I missed like 36. So I've gone to because obviously we've done the kind of the combinations of the C6, 6, 3, 9. So we've done all of those combinations, and as you can see, uh, all of the runs of the ladder are filled in with all of the 6, 3, 9 computations, should I say. Right, so that's the 36, 39, 63, 93, all of them. So we've gone to book one, and then we've read from, where are we? We've read from 36, because I think that's from 33. So we started from 33, because obviously we've got our 333 combination in our outcome, so we can link that. And then we've gone from 33. So I would say, if you've got the Zohar, please go, because I don't want to read it all through all of them. Do you know what I mean? So then there's 36. So obviously read 36 again, the faithful shepherd. And I do want to add a few things, and obviously and a few pointers now. So what I'm saying is, I believe prophecy has been fulfilled with the lay that came out the other day. So obviously the one that went to the Quran and was talking about the two moons, and obviously the first verse was, "And the time is coming, and the moon is splitting, and the moon is splitting too." So obviously, with us having this second moon at this time, that for me potentially is prophecy fulfilled, because that is something that was written in a book, and the events of what was written in that book are actually playing out now. So what do I mean by this? These particular books have been out of sync. Do you know what I mean? So they haven't been aligned mathematically like this. So I'm saying this work now, and obviously the work that I've done, has now brought all of these books and all of the timelines into sync. It's a very big statement, do you know what I mean? But I'm saying this is what this is, because this mathematical pattern runs through all of the books. Now, if the book is valid, and I'm saying that the prophecy has been fulfilled out of this mathematical kind of key, yeah, that means that all of the prophecies that run through the Zohar and the I Ching, which or events that are seen in the I Ching, yeah, have to come to pass. Because if one of the books has had something come to pass and the other books don't, that would be incorrect. That wouldn't make any sense, because the mathematical pattern leads us to these three books, and it leads us through these three books, and it runs through the Bible. So I've already written a lot of this. I've already done the cycle. I've already written it all out, and I was using a 365-day 1 year Bible. But unfortunately, on all of my journeys, that book got very distressed and got lost. So I'm looking for another one. But the mathematical pattern runs through that book as well, and I've got a lot of that already written down. So we're talking, and at the end of the day, timelines are mathematical. So we have now mathematically, we can show, it's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. We can show that these books have now come into numerical, mathematical, harmonic resonance. That means all of these books that are linked to time are all now on the same timeline. It's got to be that. It can only be that. So all of the events of all of them books have to come to pass from now, from the start of this, not from the start of this, from the start of this two moon thing, yeah, from what this is saying about the two moons, from that day there until whenever, all of the events of these books has to play out. There's no other way, because otherwise one would be telling the truth and the other ones would be lying. Or there couldn't be a mathematical pattern that runs through all of the books, but only events from the one book are going to play out and not the other ones. That doesn't make any sense. We can say, but that's even linking into whether these books do have to play out in the reality. Because don't forget, when we're talking about the Zohar and that, we're talking about inner work, we're talking about spiritual work. So this is all to do with the chakras and everything, and this is how to get the body straight and how to get the body. Obviously, those who got crooked feet, that you know what I mean. You got to stop having crooked feet. You got to get your feet straight. You know what I mean? That's what this work is about. So we know this is inner work. The I Ching is philosophical work, so that's mental work in it. Do you know what I mean? So this is how it's aligned. It's aligned on a philosophical point, mathematically, with the mathematical point of the tree of life within the body. You know what I mean? And how it aligns with that, and all the turning of the wheels and everything mathematically. Yeah. So that's coming to align with it. So then, and they work, because don't forget, all these numbers need to work. If the numbers don't work, if the math don't math, it's incorrect. And numbers like to work together. Do you know what I mean? They like to come into sync with each other, so that they're not. Listen, if the numbers don't work, he's off. Listen, we're doing a thing and that. You best come correct with the money. Do you know what I mean? Simple. So that's the same as this. The numbers have to work. So now we've got an Eastern philosophical, you could say, mental book, yeah, that now aligns with a Western that's in the East, because spiritual understanding of how all of the tree of life and obviously the Kabbalah and that works mathematically. Now that's linked up. They've come into mathematical kind of understanding. Oh yeah, we can work together. Do you know what I mean? Them two there are in line with this one here, with the Quran, mathematically, yeah. So we can see that all of these numbers are now working together. They're not in conflict. All of their math links up. You know what I mean? So we've got a spiritual doctrine understanding, of the spirit body, rare and all that going into it, and then a mental philosophical understanding of my rest of it. They all match up. They're all mathematically in alignment. So if that be the case, that means all of their timelines, mathematical, have come into alignment, because time is only math. Do you know what I mean? So time is only numbers. So now they're all in sync. And don't forget, a lot of people hold all of these in their minds and in their bodies, because they believe in it, they worship it. So because that's going to be the most dominant psychological vibration in that space, all of these people now that hold the timeline, because don't forget, places have dominant timelines and other places don't even have a timeline. Do you know what I mean? You're not in this game. You got no skin in the game. If you haven't got a timeline that's big in the game, you're not in the game. Do you know what I mean? So what are the dominant timelines? Well, the West, the East, that links north, south, and then our timelines are dominated by what? Gregorian calendar. China's got their own calendar. They don't really give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Not like that. Do you know what I mean? But like, they've got their own timeline, and don't forget, China's in front, and Saudi Arabia, and over that way in the Middle East, they're on their calendar and their timeline. Dubai and all that. Listen, they've got it boxed off. China's got it boxed off. Do you know what I mean? Their timelines are probably in front of the European timeline. Really correctly true, I'm saying. China's timeline's in front of Europe, and Dubai and that timeline's in front of Europe. So really, Europe's on the back foot. Our timeline, even though it's the mainstream dominant timeline, yeah, it's 2024, or like all North America, Canada, everywhere, Russia, it's 2024. Do you know what I mean? In Dubai, everywhere, like to China, 2024. But they also have their own timelines. Do you know what I mean? But they recognise the European timeline as the. Don't forget, we hold Greenwich Mean Time in it, so all clocks are set from here. So these books have come into mathematical synchronicity, and I'm linking that to the UTC, meaning the Universal Time Correlation Code, yeah? Because all of these are playing out now. So from now, this is it. These are in sync. So that's a little statement that I wanted to make, yeah? There's a key to this. So this is our mathematical pattern, this 993, 336, that's 696, and we can get 666 out of that 999. How do we know it's linked to the Zohar? Because we know the Zohar Parashat Pinaz is a 369 book, because that is really a Jewish code number in a way, because it relates to Saturn in it. It's a 369. It's the law, Torah law. This is the law. So this book holds the law true. This is a law, but it's a law of a different mathematical pattern. Yeah, it's not a 369 mathematical pattern. We know that because I've been looking through the Quran for the pattern, and then when we go through it, we see that 663 is at the end of a surah. No, it's not at the end of a surah. It's before the end of the surah, and so it's not on the last page. And the first page is a 659, and we know it can't be that because there are no fives in this outcome. Then outcome numbers coming down, there are no fives in that outcome. Do you know what I mean? So the pattern, the page can't have a 5 on it. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no fives in that outcome, and there's no 3 and 6 in the number of the title. There's a 15 there, and we could get to the 6. There's a 6 there. There's a 6 there. There's a 6 there, there's a 9 there, there's a 5 there, and there's no 5 there, so we can't really work with that. So we've been looking, and then we go, well, we know a power number is like a 666, isn't it? That's a good number. So we've got a 666, but it's not at the beginning of the surah. It's not at the beginning, and it's not at the end. It's in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So you can't work with that because it's not in the middle. It's not at the beginning or the end. Then we've got a 669, and we've got a 669. We can work with that, but that surah begins on 1 and 7, which is an 8. Now we could have an 8, but the 8's over here, and the 8 wouldn't fit this 669 pattern. And then it ends on a 672. And there's no 7s and there's no 2s in that outcome. Do you know what I mean? So I can't work with that. It's not there. So we can see that the pattern does not fit this book. And then when we go to so what about a 699? Well, a 699's on a question book. Look, Introduction to the Study of the Quran. So 699. So that's not linked to a surah. Do you know what I mean? That's not linked to anything. That's asking a question. Then we have a 696, and it's on a blank page, meaning that they ain't got this key. This book does not hold this key. That key goes to a blank page. Do you know what I mean? So that's 696 and a 666 and like the 333. That's not linked to this because that's a kind of a Saturn code. Do you know what I mean? Not Saturn, not Satanist or anything like that. A Saturn code, yeah, because Saturn is 369 law. Do you know what I mean? So this is Torah. This is the law. Do you know what I mean? So. And this is a law, but it's come down on a different land. So it's come down through different constellations and it's going to hold a different mathematical vibration because it's in a different space. Do you know what I mean? But it's still divine because it's got that divine mathematical code. But it not this divine mathematical, not the Zohar divine mathematical code, because that's on a different land. It's in a different spot. So it's come down a different way. One source, there's still one source, but it comes down in different places and different times and places, yeah. So, but it's a mathematical code. It's going to be slightly different because obviously it could be it's different land and that and different peoples and everything. So that I just wanted to point that out of why it's not. And again, we see that this has the code. You know what I mean? So this is just another one of the code numbers. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So that's good. And it doesn't fit. And we know it doesn't fit the I Ching because the I Ching goes up to, like, we've got 66s and that, and we've got 69s, and we've got 39s and 36s, and you could look at, I suppose you could then look at hexagram 63. So we would have hexagram 63. Well, that starts on page 244, and there's no 2s and there's no 4s in the outcome. Do you know what I mean? There's no 2s or 4s in the outcome. We could try 36. We'll go 36. All right. So we've got 36, but that starts on page 564. And there are no 5s and no 4s in the outcome. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't work. It won't work. 39, we could try 39. And see if there's a. No, well, I've gone too high. 36. 37. 38. 39, but that starts on page 579. Do you know what I mean? And there are no 7s in the outcome, so it can't be. It doesn't follow the pattern. There's no pattern there. Do you know what I mean? We can't seem to link it up. 6. Okay, we go 6. And that starts on page 28, and we've got no 8s and no 2s in the outcome. So I'm saying it's not that. It doesn't link that up. Right, so we are going to go with our Zohar link, and we know that is the link. Right, so those are the statements I wanted to make, just to get that out of, like, this is, because this is what I think this is important work. I do think this is important work. So, yeah, I think the timeline comes into play on this, definitely. Right, so we're going to carry on with this. So, and I was showing that, 636, and then we've linked 63 with the 10 things that a man must observe at the Sabbath table. So all of them can be read. This is, again, I'm not going into a big style like that, but yeah, this is about the body. That's the inner work we're going to do now as we're reading this tarot. Do you know what I mean? So, right, so get that out of the way, right? And then for me, this tarot, this link, this lays mint. Do you know what I mean? So we know we've linked it. We know it's about how well, for me, do you know what I mean? I'm saying for me now, I'm like, well, yeah, we've got justice at the bottom. We've got the six of wands. We've got death in reverse, and this is the magic. You know what I mean? We've brought that justice down. We've brought the spirit down, and he comes down through the page. So there's no blockages. as a page, the kid in it, do you know what I mean? So there's no blockages there, and it's not. And the Two of Pentacles is, it's as a game, do you know what I mean? This is where the Two of Pentacles is buzzing, because we like the to and fro, do you know what I mean? And we're used to going this kind of tick-tock of sun, moon, of energy of the sun, energy of the moon, working with the moon, working with the sun. Look, this is what we're doing. So this is a happy juggler, do you know what I mean? This is mint, because this is us walking in both lights, do you know what I mean? And death's reverse, mate. It matters not. We've gone through the doorway, we've come back. Shit, we're always going through the doorway and coming back, you know what I mean? And we're like, yeah, we're golden. It doesn't matter whether it's this side or that side. So we're doing this. So this guy's, this is the Two of Pentacles, loving it, and he's reversed, meaning that he does it in his sleep. This is like, like even if it's upside down, he can still do it, and he's not, he's not off balance, do you know what I mean? Because we've brought it into balance, we've unified it, and we've brought it all into balance, you know what I mean? So I like this. The man's at rest, the Four of Swords, and we've got the Four, the Two of Swords, and we've got Justice, do you know what I mean? So this is all swords in it, really. This is all mind, and it's Justice at the bottom. The man's at the top, the saint's at the top at rest. Why? Because that lower self has been raised up and put to rest, do you know what I mean? That lower self of wanting to be the man and going out there doing this, and not saying that that's not, you can't do that, you can do that, yeah, we've like this, we're all on it, man. Listen, you got to bounce, so you got to do your thing and that, but as a egoic out there trying to have to, you know what I mean, in a particular way, that's been put to rest, that's been raised up, and he's been boxed off to the side. Listen, go to sleep. The higher self is taking over now, right? And then obviously that comes down through the Two of Swords. The mind, the eyes to the outer are blinded. Do you know what I mean? We're not watching the outer. There's only the inner, the inner. So and the inner comes down to Justice, and it's balanced, because those two swords are really the two scales. Do you know what I mean? Those two swords flip into the two scales. And it's the sword anyway. It's the Ace of Swords anyway. She holds the sword of truth, meaning that the mind comes down balanced, rather than being more one or more the other. Do you know what I mean? All sun, all moon. Now we can balance the info. We can balance the numbers with the letters. Do you know what I mean? So when we write, we literally write in words and numbers. Do you know what I mean? Because we'll balance these two out, and they now work together. Do you know what I mean? And when you do that, this is where all the knowledge comes together. So this is what I think anyway. This is what I hope this is linking to. And so yeah, I'm happy with that. And that is this is a very good lay. We've got the goddess at the top holding Leo. Yeah, Leo's the sun. Yeah, the goddess is the moon. We can link strength to the cycle of the sun and the moon. It's Leo and the goddess. The goddess is the moon. It's lunar. You got to learn the sky overhead. So we'll balance the sun and the moon, and they're grounded. So you know what I mean? The Five of Cups is in a downside up position. All of that energy, nothing's lost. Whatever's poured out flows up for a start. Whatever's flowing down is flowing down through death. And don't forget, death is this is a moon card. That white rose, that's really the moon, do you know what I mean? Because really the moon is what? It's like a dodecahedron, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it looks round, but it's not really round, do you know what I mean? So this is what this is on the black banner, do you know what I mean? On the black banner, this is the moon. So all of that energy flows down through the moon to the guy on the horse, to the man on his spirit, do you know what I mean? He's got the spirit of the moon, he's got the spirit of the sun. The moon comes down, the sun is up. When the sun's up, the moon comes down, and then we get the, see what I mean? It's like this, because the moon's higher, the sun goes higher, the moon goes down. The sun goes down, the moon goes higher. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to get used to this. This is what's happening. The Two of Pentacles was actually happening in actual with the sun and the moon, innit? As like daylight, sunlight, the like moonlight, nighttime, daytime. Do you know what I mean? So this is the Two of Pentacles. This is happening in the reality, and you're doing it as you're walking around. So, but this is in reverse. Do you know what I mean? This is in reverse. In my case, it's like moon, sun. Well, it's not even. It's like moon, sun, but still balanced. Do you know what I mean? It should be. You could say it should be sun, moon, and balance. But mine's moon, sun, and balance. So I'm more under the moon because we've already got the sun boxed off. Do you know what I mean? Once you've got the sun boxed off, you can box off the moon. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't got the moon boxed off, you're all right with the sun, but it's harder to do the process. It's harder to do it the other way around. It's for some reason, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It depends on what your dream space is like, you know what I mean? So it depends on whether you're getting enough moonlight and being able to be under that light. So again, this lay for me is a very positive and show I know where I'm at. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's what I was saying with the other one about reading for people. You can read for people. I know people do that brilliantly. Do you know what I mean? You can go and listen. Someone was saying to me they went on holiday and they went and seen some lady, and the information that the woman said to him was like, he said, listen, he's like, this was like weeks and weeks later. And he's like still in shock of like, how the hell did this woman know this, like on point, that, like this, and they've got it boxed off, you know what I mean? This, and this, you are the Oracle Goddess, mate, this and on it. So yeah, they've got it boxed, but this is the other aspect. So I don't do that, you know what I mean? I know I've gone a bit off there, but yeah, about reading for people, because I'm not sure. I'm only trying to get this into the understanding of like how this represents you. You know what I mean? This represents my psychological, spiritual makeup. So this is how we make it. This is me making it personal for me and showing that your internal aspects do, or can they, or are they affecting the reality? You know what I mean? Once you get this balance within, we start to see the balance without. Do you know what I mean? So as above, so below. That's what we're hoping. That this is what the true process is, I think. So yeah, I'm really happy with that lay. And again, I would encourage you to go and read the Zohar. Link all those ones up again. We're on all of the 9s, or any of them, all link up again. And another thing, this is leading us to what was his name? So let me think about this now. To Pinaz. So to Elijah. So since Elijah is Pinaz, yeah. And again, this is another patriarchal figure. Do you know what I mean? We've got Job is mentioned, but Elijah, Muhammad, Abraham, sorry, there's all these are all masculine figures. Yeah, these are all male figures, brilliant, all great men in their own right. But this is why I keep saying that I think this is the patriarch, how the tarot links back from the feminine into the masculine, then I think goes back out of the masculine back into the feminine of this kind of landscape. So this is the other path, but we've united these two paths, we hope. Yeah. So I know that's a bit long, and I know I've rambled on for a bit, but there are a few pointers there that I do want to get into this, and there's some other things about like how the way, the direction of the flow may have changed. Do you know what I mean? Especially like if we look at the reality as it's playing out now, the direction of flow energetically, I think, is in adjustment or something. Or again, we come back to this timeline. Is there a timeline adjustment because of this mathematical pattern? Can we link it in that way? I'm linking it in that way, and I'm seeing if there's any other things that I can find in the reality to support my hypothesis. Do you know what I mean? So I need to see reflection in the reality that supports my hypothesis, you know what I mean, on how the tarot is very effective. Yes, so a bit of a long one. Thank you. We're going to do another lay, and I will get back to you shortly. Please subscribe. Nice one. Thank you. Bye.